Hi, good afternoon, and you've tuned into ET now, and this is Market Fatafat with me, Shell D'Souza. Along with me, I have Vinny Motiwala. Very good afternoon to you, Vinny. And let's take a look at what the markets are doing at this point in time. And yes, markets are actually inching towards the day's highest point. If you look at the Nifty, 0.7% uptick coming in for the benchmark indices, and the small cap index is leading the gains, 1% uptick coming in for small cap index. But let's talk about Jupiter Lifeline Hospital, because that is the counter which is going to come out with this IPO. We have Dr. Aniket Thakur, who is the CEO at the company, joining us. A very good afternoon to you, Doctor. Thank you so much for joining us on ET now. And firstly, let me ask you about your IPO funds. We understand that you will be using the IPO funds to partially repay the debt. What will the debt be after the repayment? And also, if you could tell us the savings on interest costs on account of the prepayment.
We will be debt-free post the IPO. We are going to pay down all the debt. So pretty much the entire interest portion and the outflow for the principal repayment will be free cash in our hands.
Right. Let me continue actually asking you about your expansion plans. You have planned expansion at Dombivli in the pipeline, which is in the pipeline. How will you fund that sort of an expansion? Also, if you could tell us what sort of a timeline of operationalization and revenue accretion are you expecting from this expansion?
So Dombivli is going to be a 500-bed hospital. We have bought the land, received all the permissions from the government for construction, and we have just begun construction there. We believe in the next 2.5 odd years, we should be able to commission Dombivli. So on the revenue side, our thought process is that each and every hospital that we build should be designed as a flagship hospital, and each of them should be able to contribute at the same level as any other. So once Dombivli gets matured, it is designed in size, scale and scope to do as well as Thane or any other hospital.
Right, Dr. Thakkar, this is Vinny joining in the conversation as well. Just want to talk about your other growth plans, the capex and the expansion plans, and will you go for the organic route only, or inorganic is also something on the cards?
So we prefer the organic route. We have, like the concept of custom building our facilities on lands owned by us. We believe that this kind of model provides us better infrastructure and a better stability, and also translates into better financial outcomes over the long term. So organic route, greenfield route is what we generally prefer. So that is the primary idea. And for the growth, besides Dombivli, our thought is that in the next few years we would like to be adding some more facilities and go to between 2,000 and 3,000 odd beds in the Western India region and increase our presence here.
Right. Could you talk to us about your key metrics like occupancy levels, also ARPOB? What's the outlook on those fronts? And also, how does your company stack when you compare it with the peers?
Is the oldest facility. It is now 15 plus years old. It is pretty much at a maturity state in terms of occupancy. Our POBs will continue to see inflation-based rise from here on. Pune and Indore both have significant growth opportunity in terms of capacity utilization. We just undertook some brownfield expansion in Pune, and which has given us more headroom for growth in Pune. And similarly in Indore, currently we are operating 231 beds, but we have an opportunity to add 200 more beds in Indore. So both Pune and Indore, I think, should largely contribute for growth in the next couple of years till Dombivli and the future facilities come up.
Also, just want to understand in terms of the valuations, it seems a bit expensive on the side of a 50 to 55 forward earnings, if I'm not wrong. So what was that thought process behind setting this valuation there?
No, our thought process behind valuation was that we had no expectation, and we are guided by the feedback from the investor community. and that is how we approach the whole cycle, and the outcome is a result of investor feedback.
Right. Attrition, talent management is one of the key focus for the entire industry actually. Could you tell us how do these metrics stack for you, especially when you talk about the attrition as well as talent management?
Yeah, so I think this is one side where we are extremely proud and happy that as far as our doctors go, we have very, very low, near 0% attrition in doctors across all our units. So we have a very strong and a stable medical team, and that really helps us in doing what we do, that is, deliver good care to our patients and excel clinically. So, this is something which we are very happy about. On the nurses side, yes, it is a national, problem of nursing attrition and new nursing talent in general, and we are also struggling with that. But we'll make whatever efforts are necessary to, ensure good clinical qualities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Thakkar, for joining in with us this afternoon and giving us an understanding on what we should be expecting, from the company, waiting out for their IPO as well. Thank you so much for joining in with us this afternoon. But on that note, viewers, let's get started with all the stocks that are buzzing in trade, either on the back of news flows or on the back of technicals. Today on the technicals, we're joined by Vaishali Parekh, while from the research team, we're joined by Harsh as well as Ashesha. A very good afternoon to all three of y'all as well. And Cheryl, as always, I'm going to be starting with the first stock that is in focus, that is ITD Cementation. Now look at the stock, what an up move that we've seen coming in the stock as well. It's jumped over 13% and almost touched an all-time high today as well in intraday trade as well. And this is mainly on the back of a marine order that they have secured for around 3,290 crore rupees. So on the back of this very big order win that the company has had, we're seeing that the stock is buzzing in trade. Yes, given up those strong gains that we saw in the morning of around 12 to 13%. Now trading with gains of almost 9.8%, but still strong order win is keeping the stock in focus. We also had the management, they did give positive commentary as well, and on the back of that, we are seeing the buzzing stock that is for today. First one is ITD Cementation.
Alright, moving on, let's talk about Emami and why this particular counter is in focus, because Citi has come out with a note on Emami where they've actually gone ahead and upgraded the stock to a buy rating from an erstwhile neutral rating, because they're expecting the company to benefit from investments behind long-term strategic initiatives. What are those initiatives? One of them is basically sales and distribution, the tech and the digital aspect, as well as new age channels and new product launches. What Citi is noting is that with over 50% of India business coming from rural markets, they believe that Emami is now well placed to benefit from potential recovery in that particular segment, especially also from the consumption demand. Therefore, they've gone ahead and actually raised the target price to about 600 rupees versus 455 rupees, and this is based on the 28 times FY 2025 recurring EPS. So you have thumbs up coming in from Citi for Emami, upgraded to buy, raise the target price as well, and if you see the stock is actually holding on to gains of about 2%.
Absolutely. Let's move on and talk about Tata Chemicals on the charts then. And Vaishali, how is Tata Chemicals looking like on the technical front? It's not done anything great in terms of the returns when you look at it even on a 6-month perspective or a 1-year perspective. Finally, could we expect a run-up coming in for Tata Chemicals?
Yes, hi, good afternoon all of you. But yes, definitely, that's the reason why I would choose the stock, because overall we've seen in this bull run, the chemical sector has really not participated, and now we are seeing the beginning. So Tata Chemical also now, after a very long consolidation, we are seeing that stock is picking up momentum, and I would look at it for a buy with a support of 1030 for a target of 1150 to start with.
Alright, moving on, Harsh, let's talk about Prudent. Why is this one on your spotlight today? Because we know yesterday it had a block deal. I believe you have the name.
Well, yes, absolutely, Cheryl. So block deal yesterday, stock was down, really beaten yesterday. In fact, opened up nearly 8 to 10% lower in trade yesterday. And, it's reversed. Some of that has reversed in trade today, at least 4% higher. And in terms of who the buyers and sellers are, we had TAFDI Investors Limited, which sold 37 lakh shares in a block. 1125 per share was the price at which they've sold at. That's broadly the price even now. In terms of the buyers, good buying interest though. Surprisingly, we had DSP Mutual Fund, which bought around 20 lakh shares at 1125. We also had Adia chipping in, buying around 3.4 lakh shares odd, and we had India Econ ICAV which bought around 4 lakh shares as well. So around 30 lakh shares lapped up right there. Prudent Corp, of course, buzzing today on the back of some of those announcements. DSP as well as Adia were the big buyers in the block yesterday.
Absolutely. Cheryl, seems like we have moved from that earnings season to a season of only block deals, because every day there are so many block deals that happen.
Lucky us, isn't it?
Yes, lucky us, because we have a lot of stocks to take then. But yes, keeping an eye out on Prudent Corp trading and almost at the day's highest point as of now. Let's move on to the next one. And Ashesha, why is steel strip wheels in focus today?
Data for the month of August, and that is the reason the stock is gaining in trade today. It is off the highest point of the day. In fact, at one point in time, the stock was gaining nearly 2% At the currently, it is gaining nearly 0.4%. So it has achieved net turnover of about 390 crores in the month of August versus 350 crores same time last year. So on a year-on-year basis, it has registered a growth of about 11%. Exports, meanwhile, in value terms, grew by about 146% and about 271% in terms of volume. So yes, operational data, strong operational data has come in from the company for the month of August, because of which the stock is gaining nearly 0.4% higher in trade as we speak.
Let's move on to the next one, and one more Tata company, the Tata Group company that I picked out, Vaishali, and this is Tata Power. This one has seen a decently good run up in the last 6 months as well, and actually today it's trading at a 52-week high. Now, what is your view on Tata Power? Do you expect a run up, or maybe some bit of a correction is something that we should watch out for?
I don't think so. It's got into a new round of momentum, and we are seeing that it is making a good upward move with a technical strong chartical pattern. So I would now look for a trading target of 265 from here on, and for a longer term vision, I would still look at around 280 to 300 levels. So this is my view for Tata Power. It would be a buy at every decline, keeping in mind 235 acts as a crucial support.
Okay, let's move on to the next one, and that is Balaji Amines that's in focus, and this one is on the back of a weak set of numbers. And when you look at it, overall the revenues of the company have seen a sharp decline of 35%. Profits of the company are down by 63% as well, just coming in at 35 crores versus 93 crores last year. So yes, Q1 numbers seem to be very weak, because on the operating front as well, the EBITDA levels are down by 61%, and the margins have seen a contraction of around 1000 basis points, and EBITDA margins have just come in at 15.3%. So clear pressure that was seen on Balaji Amines also in terms of the Q1 numbers, weak set of numbers, and that is why we're seeing that the stock is falling in trade down 1.3% as we speak.
Alright, that's Balaji Amines for you. Vaishali, coming to you, let's talk about Aarti Industries, and how is this one looking on the charts to you now? Do you think that it will see some sort of a recovery going ahead, or do you see subdued performance again?
Well, I would say the worst is over, and the stock is really being beaten up and showing signs of reversal. In fact, 460 levels or something was the double bottom formation, and now it's moving past the resistance. So I would call it a buy for a target of 525.
Alright, moving on then, and let's talk about metal sector as a whole, because metal sector is abuzz since the word go. If you look at the metal sector right now, it is at a 7-month high level, and what is actually kind of spurring this move in the metal sector is the fact that you have positive global cues, especially coming in from China. You know that the Chinese government is trying to spruce up their economy by actually unveiling stimulus day after day, and on back of that actually optimism, you are seeing the metal index actually see a good uptick in today's trading session. Also, you have this Chinese government that has allowed some of the largest cities to cut down payments for home buyers and also encourage lenders to lower the rates on existing mortgages. So you have these sort of moves coming in from Chinese economy, and that's kind of keeping the metal stocks abuzz in today's trading session. The metal index as a whole is at a 7-month high.
Okay, that is the whole metal index and all the metal stocks. But Vaishali, you've picked out one for us on the charts, and that is Hindalco. What is your view coming in on Hindalco on the charts? What is it that you are expecting in terms of a target over here?
So Hindalco, well, we have seen that it has not really participated to the level Jindal Steel and Power, JSW Steel has participated. Hindalco has just begun its rally, and I think it has a potential going towards 520. So keeping in mind 440 as a support, one should buy the stock for a positional trade of 520.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Hindalco. Harsh, let's talk about Sula Vineyard. Earnings, beg your pardon. Block deal candidate yesterday. Who are the buyers and the sellers?
Block deal is the new earnings, Cheryl, so clearly that's not incorrect. But World Invest has sold around 12% stake in Sula, and that block has come up for sale as well. It came up for sale yesterday. 484 was the price at which World Invest exited. 1 crore odd shares sold off by World Invest. The buyers, interesting again, Societe Generale bought around 6.5 odd lakh shares, and we had HDFC Mutual Fund which bought big. We had HDFC Mutual Fund buy in 3 blocks of 20 lakh, 6.5 lakh and around 8.5 lakh shares. So roughly almost 35 to 40% of World Invest's entire investment was rather lapped up by HDFC Mutual Fund at 484 again. Of course, the stock up and away on the back of those blocks and the overhang, of course, going away.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. And Vaishali, Tata Metallics is the stock that you have picked out for us on the charts. What is it that you are picking up for this one on the technical level? What is it that one should watch out for? Last 6 months, obviously around a 30% return. How much more upside is left here?
The weekly chart and weekly chart also is looking very robust. So I think for a longer term perspective, I would look at a target of 1100 to 1200. So I would say this time also at this level, it would be a good buy for looking at a target of 1100.
All right, Ashesha, let's talk about Dixon Tech and Amber Enterprises. Both of these counters are in focus on same news spec.
The entire EMS industry is in focus, and this is on account of a note that has come in from Jefferies. Jefferies has come out with a note where they are maintaining their whole stance on Dixon, and they've hiked their target price from 4,300. Now their revised target price stands at about 5,050 rupees. As far as Amber Enterprises is concerned over here, also they are maintaining their buy stance, but they've hiked their target price from 3,390 to 3,740. They say that the Indian EMS industry is estimated to reach about $59 billion by FY26, which indicates a growth CAGR of about 32% over the period FY23 to 26. They say that the growth will be led by China Plus One, cheap labor and electronics under-penetration in India. Government is boosting indigenization and components will be a key focus area. So on account of this report that has come in from Jefferies and the entire industry, both of these counters are in focus today. Dixon Tech as we speak is up over 1.5% and Amber Enterprises is gaining nearly 3%.
Okay, that is the EMS industry for y'all. But let's move on and talk about Happiest Minds at stock number 14 on the charts. And Vaishali, last 6 months, not that much of a return, just 8%. Should we expect the run-up now to pick up and, the pace of run-up to pick up for Happiest Minds?
So yes, IT sector, as we know that, yes, it has begun its move. And chartically, I think it's ready for a good breakout. Above 935, 940, I think this stock is ready to take a target of 1050. So I would recommend a buy over here.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Gujarat Gas. We have a couple of news flows here. The first one that we got in the morning was that Gujarat Gas had actually increased the price of its price of the gas prices by around 2.5% SCM, and this was going to be effective from now. But yes, when you look at it, the second news flow that actually came in was that propane total import duty was rolled back to 2.57% from 19.25%. Propane prices in Morbi should be at around 36 rupees per SCM from September and 41 rupees from October approximately. That's the figure that has come in as well. And obviously when you look at it, Gujarat gas prices in Morbi currently are at 45 rupees SCM is the measuring metric. So yes, on the back of this, we've seen that Gujarat gas has seen a sharp jump up coming in terms of the increase in prices that they have taken. But later on, this news flow came out and we see that some bit of a gains was given up by Gujarat Gas. As of now, holding on to gains of around 1.7%.
All right, moving on, Vaishali, let's talk about NMDC and how is this one looking on the charts to you? A similar chart trend that of Hindalco?
Well, actually, yes, I'm quite bullish on NMDC because if you would have noticed, even yesterday, amidst all the choppiness, the stock was holding on well. It is recommended to our clients right from 120 levels, and today it has surged high. So I maintain a positive buy with 120 as support for a target of 150.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about MCX because that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. Yesterday was the first day of their mock trading. Today is the day 2 of it, and actually no glitches have been found so far in the mock trading as per the traders. Remember, MCX is conducting one more, today is the second day of that particular mock trading. This is before the implementation of their new software. New software implementation has been an overhang for MCX, and looks like the fact that it's day 2 of no glitches being found, the stock is actually being seeing a good spike in trade today. Also, remember, if there's any delay in that implementation, it will cost the company around 125 crore rupees per quarter. But for now, looks like a smooth sailing coming in for MCX in that mock trading. So the stock is actually seeing a good uptick. Also, remember that the commodity derivatives market activity has witnessed a strong growth in the month of August, and options ADTO registered a strong growth of about 23%, and this is due to the growth in the energy contracts. And MCX futures ADTO declined by 2% over July, that's month-on-month basis, but strong growth coming in the month of August as well. That is also auguring well for MCX. 7% uptick, as you can see it on your screen right now.
That is the news flow around that. Surely keeping an eye out on that. But on the technicals, MCX, how is that looking, Vaishali?
Well, this was a good stock to be looked into in the morning because we saw the stock was giving a breakout, and I maintain a positive bias. We are pretty much done with the target, but I would look at a target of 1850 to 1900 from here on. And we had recommended this stock right at, I think, 1750.
All right, so that is MCX for you. Let's shift focus. Let's talk about India pesticides, and why is this one in focus, Harsh?
Plans, and some of those have started to now roll, so that's a positive for India pesticides. In fact, the stock is up 5%, bit of a spike that we're seeing over the last few minutes, in fact. Let me take you through the details. So of course the company had applied for allotment of land for which they were going to purchase for the purpose of expansion. So this was part of the Uttar Pradesh Industrial Development Authority, which was supposed to allot them land, which was around 11,461 square meters, and it was adjacent to their current facility, which is in Sandila, and it was for the purpose of setting up their manufacturing unit. Company has actually received the allotment letter for the land from the competent authority. Cost of acquisition around 9.5 odd crore. So you can expect those expansion plans to start to come through. Of course, it's a positive for the stock as well as for the company.
Let's move on to the next one on the charts. Ashok Leyland, Vaishali, when you look at it, this one seems like slight bit of a correction or a subdued performance in the last 1 month. But what is it that you're picking up over here? Is it the right time to pick up more Ashok Leyland stocks?
I actually think so, because overall, if you see, whole of auto sector has been doing very well. Ashok Leyland has formed a very good trend, and after a move, it has consolidated. So I think the support lies between this 183 to 180 band. It's good for accumulation, because once we see a momentum from here on, I won't be surprised seeing the stock going towards 200.
All right, let's talk about a stock that has actually hit an 8-year high in today's trading session, actually, Winnie, and that particular stock is BHEL. Ashesha, tell us what exactly is happening in BHEL. What a spectacular rise this particular counter has registered over the past 1 week or so.
6th consecutive session of gains coming in for BHEL. Today it is in focus on the back of 2 block deals that took place today morning. About 2.8 million shares changed hands via 2 block deals. Today it is in focus on the back of that. But yes, as you mentioned, it has been in focus for the last many trading sessions. The company has won several orders. In fact, the company also won NTPC's thermal power contract a couple of days ago, where the company said that they've secured order for setting up thermal power project in Chhattisgarh from NTPC. So on the back of several order inflows that has been coming through, the stock is in focus. Today, of course, on the back of the block deal that took place, it is charged up nearly 11.5% up in trade as we speak.
Okay, that is BHEL for you all. But on that note, viewers, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stocks after this break.